Hello everyone. I have 2 other recordings for this channel in the making, and then things like today happen and I come here and just ramble on some theme that I never thought I would ever talk about. Today I will talk a little bit. I hope it's a very short recording because I really don't like this theme. I will talk about this whole left and right politics game, but in a very different way, because I think anyone who comes here to this channel has probably no interest in the regular way people talk about politics. I have gained more subscribers, which is baffling to me because no one knows me really. But thank you, whoever you are, for subscribing to my ramblings. And so now I have, I think, 5 or 6 listeners and my lovely cat. Thank you. Anyone who endures my bad English pronunciation to listen to my thoughts, you're very special to me. Every single one who comes here and endures my ramblings. Okay, so politics, okay? Anyone who comes to this channel, I think, already knows that there is no such thing as left and right and the whole animosity between these so-called factions. It's just all nonsense. It's all just a big circus to keep people entertained and occupied and following along with the external structure. It's like, when people do things and then they start explaining themselves on why they did what they did. So this is politics. Things are being done, like, I don't know, a road from somewhere to another place because of many reasons. Like, you have to transport matter from one place to another and you need that road, and people with a lot of money who then will build factories or, I don't know, will drill for oil, and they have big plans. They need the road, okay? They need that road. So these people have a lot of money, they get together, they need that road. And then the road will be built. If you are one of the regular people like me, you have no say on whether a road will be built in the middle of a rainforest to transport, I don't know, gold or whatever. You have no say. And I think you know that. I know that I have no say. People with a lot of money, they will need that road, so the road will be built. No matter how many cockatoos will lose their habitat and how many trees, 100 or 200-year-old trees, will be ripped off the ground. Yes, it's a very unholy business, this ripping out of ancient trees. But it will happen. Because some rich dude needs his gold or whatever else transported to some port which will be built, and you have no say. So just chill, right? They have more whatever land tokens for some reason in this big multiplayer game. Like the internet. Those games, those online games, I think they are called MMORPGs. It's a role-playing game. It's a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. This is what goes on in whatever land. There are people who clued in first what's going on, and then they just did what one has to do to get money and prestige and I don't know, to be on top. And they just did it. And now they have a huge advantage because they started to play the game earlier. And if you just clued in right now, then you're just a newbie and you don't understand what's going on. And this is why then you're screwed. I'm sorry. But it is true. You're screwed because you're just a newbie. Maybe if you clue in into the workings of whatever land, and if you like it, because this is the other part. A lot of people think that these guys that have tons of money and that get to decide if roads are going to be built and ports are going to exist, that they have a wonderful time. That they are just going around the world and life free and doing whatever they like. They are more bound than me or you or any regular being, because they are playing this game for real. You don't need to play this game for real. I don't play this stupid game. I don't care. I don't care. So if you want, right, if you figure out the workings of whatever land, which is not hard, I'm telling you, it is a giant board game or a giant... This is apt, right? It's a board game. It's so boring. I don't know how people do it. I'm silly today. I apologize to the 5 or 6 listeners and my cat. I will try to control my silliness. It won't work, but I will try. Okay. I don't know how people do it, how people play this whatever land game. And for real, I play the whatever land game just so that I can go on about my life doing the things I want to do and not have external structures in my face all the time telling me what to do, because I won't do it anyway. So, okay. It's a waste of time for everyone. When governments start with their, let's say, census taking, and they want me to answer things about my private life, they're just wasting their time. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play that game. So I don't. And then these people have a miserable time with me, and I wish they would just back off and go ask someone else. I don't know, some goody two-shoes who thinks governments are nice and friendly. So, whatever. Okay, but let's say you clued into whatever land workings, and you think it's great, and you want to be rich and famous. I don't know what you want. But maybe there is someone who wants to get rich and famous and be a millionaire or something, and then sit in boardrooms. There is that word again. Because you will be bored if you're sitting in boardrooms with other people deciding how many trees you get to rip out to build your stupid road. If you want that, you can. Just pay attention to the rules of the game, of this massive multiplayer 3D reality role-playing game, and just go play. Go play, amass a fortune. You can do it. If you're not 80 years old, if you are from whatever age, even if you're a kid, 10 years old, to like 50 or 60 years old, you still can go out into whatever land and make a fortune. You can. You have just to figure out how the game is played. If you start early, it's easier, but then you wasted your life. If you start, let's say, after you retire, You retired from your boring job. And then you just understand what's going on in whatever land. And then you take these years that you should be enjoying your life with your grandchildren, and you waste it then to amass a fortune. And you will. If you figure out how this game is played, then you will. You will get money. You will get everything whatever land has to offer. It is silly anyway. It will make you miserable, but you can go. So, some people just clued into what is necessary to get rich and famous and be forever entangled in whatever land. This is the cost. You then donate your life force to the structure and you help the structure along. And so you leave your soul at the door of whatever land, and then you go in there, and then you just put your soul to work as a battery for the structure. And then you get all the rewards from whatever land, but you lost your soul purpose because you're just using your life force as a battery, and you're not abiding by your soul anymore, so your life is wasted. Get it? It's very simple. It's very simple. You can either have your mind and your body serve your soul, or you can just donate your mind and your body to external structures, forget about the soul, use your life force, your soul as a battery to power your mind and your body in service of whatever land. These are your choices. Okay. I recommend you forget about whatever land. It will not bring you happiness nor joy. And you just find out what your soul wants and needs, and you serve your soul. And then if it is your destiny to become rich and famous, then you will become rich and famous, and you won't care. Because you're not playing whatever land games. You're catering to your soul. And the only reason then you will suffer the burden of success is because it is the right thing to do for your soul. And if you then fail, you won't care about it either. Because that's not the game you're playing. You're not playing on the surface anymore. You have a deep, meaningful life going on. You won't care what other people think of you. You won't care. Because that's not the point, right? But if you care, then you can just do something that I find abhorrent, but I have no issue with people doing it, which is donating their minds and bodies to whatever land workings, go into the structure, live as a part of the structure, and just use the soul as a battery. It is horrible to see. Sometimes I can't even watch people do that. It's so painful to me. But I understand that sometimes a soul is not ready yet. They have to go through that, and then something will happen, and at some point they will clue in to the real life that is going on here in this place. Until then, they will be very concerned with whatever land and what other people think of them, and that they have to have, I don't know, a house and a dog and a cat and whatever, and a job and a good job, and be successful and I don't know, collect credentials. Nothing is wrong with doing those things. Nothing. I have my own silly credentials. The problem is thinking that this is the real life. It isn't. These are props and scenery for you to go play about so that your soul can grow. If you are doing whatever land things in order to follow the call of your soul, then it's fine. This is the way to play this game without getting enmeshed with it. It's a very good thing we have going on here in this place. It's a very nice setup. The problem is thinking that there is no soul or something horrid like that, and then being all enmeshed in whatever land. Okay, I probably lost my train of thought, but I will try to collect it the best I can. I don't want to stop the recording and start from scratch, so I will just go back to the thing that prompted this recording, which was, I have a relative that is very into whatever land's trinkets. He loves whatever land trinkets, like IDs and passports and I don't know. So this relative of mine, he has double citizenship. He's a citizen of Brazil, and then he also is a citizen of Portugal. He lives here in Brazil, where I live, and he just got by mail, sent to him to his home, a little voting card and some brochures explaining what is going on in Portugal and who is running for, I don't know even what's going on in politics wherever in the world. I don't pay attention, but I don't know exactly what's going on in Portugal, but there is some election going on. I could go and look, but it's so useless. I never look. Only if someone wants my opinion. God knows why. But people do ask me for my opinion on these kind of silly things. So then I go look, and then I just bore myself a little bit, and then I come back and give my stupid opinion, which no one should listen to. Really, I have zero knowledge about specific political issues because they don't matter. Nothing matters. It's ridiculous. It's all just a show. But okay, he has then received this little voting card and he voted, and then he explained to me why he voted for the conservative guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you vote, who you vote for. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. But he then explained to me, and okay, fine. He was explaining to me all this, why he will vote conservative and whatever. And then I told him, fine, if your guy, whoever it is, gets into office, this is all fake. I hope you know this is all fake. That this getting into office and getting out of office and the whole animosity between them, that this is all a theater. I really hope everyone who's listening to this understands this. That this is not real. Politics is not real, okay? I'm sorry if you invested in some guy or some ideology, or if you think it's real. I'm truly sorry, but I have to tell you, there is no Santa Claus. All these political parties, there's none of that. All of that is just Santa Claus and his elves and Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. It's the same thing. It is not real. I'm really sorry. I'm the one telling you that your fantasy is not real. But it is a fantasy, okay? I'm sorry. Okay. So then I did the same thing to my poor relative, and I explained to him, see, this is why people should not ask me for opinions about politics, because I just dismantle the whole crap and then they get upset. All right, here. I'm sorry I didn't do any trigger warnings. I might have to put in one, I don't know. Anyway, I did to him what I'm doing to you right now, which is telling him that it doesn't matter what he's doing. This whole left and right, conservative and liberal, and all the rest of it is a way of taking the temperature of a large set of people. And it feels like that, right? That someone is taking your temperature the baby way. Every time this stupid voting crap happens. Okay. This is what's going on. People who get to decide about building roads and ports and putting up 3G or 4G or whatever structure, people who are invested in the infrastructure of this place because they have their own interests to cater to. So these people that have a lot of money and are invested in whatever land game, these people, these big players, they need to know if they can put up a new structure, a new way of doing things, something that will change the game of whatever land a little bit or even a big bit, and that will bring them huge advantages. They need to know if they can do it, if it's the right time for them to do it, to make changes to the game. And normally, people are very averse to change, right? You don't want your life to change all the time. It's horrible. You have to adapt, and then you have to think things through, and you have to then, I don't know, change your habits. Human beings don't like that. Human beings like to do the same silly stuff every single day, especially when their lives are going well. These people then, that have a lot of money and maybe think of themselves even as game developers or something. I'm sorry. It's not that. It's just people who are invested in the structure, right? They want to build their roads and do their crap, and they know that a lot of people will be against that. They don't want their lives disturbed. So what happens is they take this temperature. They make this whole show, and then you go there and you vote. Please don't vote. If you can help it, don't participate in that crap. But if you like it, then okay, go there, do your thing, right? And then people vote, and then they know the temperature. This is all that's going on. So if people vote very liberal, this means that they are satisfied more or less with their life, and so nothing has to be done. Nothing has to really be done. And if you do things when people are satisfied, you get a lot of pushback. You get a lot of pushback. You know that in your private life, if everything is going well for you, you don't want any disturbance of that nice thing you got going on. You get upset if someone comes and wrecks your life for some reason. Whatever the reason is, it might even be a good reason, but you don't like it. You had a nice thing going on. So whenever people vote more liberal, this means everything's fine. People are going on about their lives. They are rather satisfied. It signals to whoever is invested in the structure, and big time invested, right? It signals to them that everything is too good to be disturbed. And so they don't do anything. They wait around for another 4 years, do minor things. Nothing really goes on because people voted like, I don't care. I'm liberal. Yeah. Do whatever. I don't care. I'm fine. My life's good. Yeah. Everyone should do whatever. So all these themes that people identify as left-leaning themes, you know what they are. Giving money to people who need money, social services, everything. All these issues that are more left-leaning, which means let's just have people do whatever they like. This is the summary of the left. Let people do whatever they like and be fine with it. Okay? This is it. So whenever this is going on and people then vote to the left, then whoever is invested in the structure knows that not a good time to go about making big changes. So they do small things. But inevitably, the economy is cyclical and things get derailed. It's normal. It's normal because this is the place of creation and destruction. Whatever land, things don't last. So whatever good is going on, at some point, it will just fall apart because of normal changes. This is like, you don't have to get upset when things go wrong in the economy, or if your country is suddenly all complicated and people are fighting, or whatever is going on that you perceive as the end of an era or whatever. You don't have to be concerned about that. This would be like you going crazy because it's winter all of a sudden and all the leaves of the trees are falling and this is horrible. Nothing is going on. It's just sometimes structures that are built in whatever land, they have to end. They come to an end. A cycle comes to an end, and this is normal. This will happen. This will happen. A financial cycle will come to an end. It will start small, then it will have a high, then people call it a bubble, and then it just collapses, and then you're fine again. You have to start understanding that this place, this creation and destruction thing, works like that everywhere, on everything. So a political movement will start small, then it will have its glory days, and then it will just fall apart, die, and be extinguished, and then it will be reborn in some other form. Because this is what goes on here. Everything you do will follow this same path. Everything. Your career will be the same thing. So don't get invested in your stupid career. Sorry, it's not stupid. But don't get invested in your career because you start small, you have your glory days, and then it will fall apart. It will end. This is the way everything happens here. And it is in your face. Things are born, and then they grow, and then they have their splendor time, and then they just wither and die. So this is it, right? And people who are invested in the structure and understand that this is what's going on, and they want to make big changes, they have to take the temperature, because if everyone or most people just think everything is fine, this is not the time for change. Change will be disruptive then. However, when naturally an economical or financial or whatever land cycle starts falling apart and coming to an end, changes will have to be made on a country or city or region or company, or sector of the economy. You don't know. You can know. If you observe, you will know what's going on. You just have to look at it. It's not hard. When a cycle, a big cycle, starts falling apart and coming to an end, people get very upset because their lives are not working anymore. Things are not easy anymore. Whatever they're doing is not working. You know what that's called? Recession. You probably went through some of those things. You probably lost your job, or something else bad happened. You had a bad economical cycle where you couldn't rent out your rental properties if you have some. Or it was a bad time to sell your house or to sell your car because no one got any money left, because all the money was... Oh my God, this really isn't complicated, but you have to understand how whatever land works. Okay, I won't go into the money thing. I think I will have to do a lot of recordings about money because it's like Monopoly or some other board game. You have to have these little trinkets so you can trade and do stuff. It's just like rolling the dice, and then you have some material to go on playing the game. It's really nothing. You just have to understand what's going on. Okay, but when these cycles then come to an end and everything gets very, very difficult for people, then what happens is people start to vote more to the right. Because the people that they put up there, these actors that they put up there, right, these nonsensical people that then go there and do these rallies and whatever, you have to start looking at it as they put out an idea. If you really pay attention, what they are saying is, this place is a mess, this can't go on, we have to have change. This is it. And then they start off on a lot of themes that don't really matter. They won't change really anything for you. They are just taking the temperature to see if most people would be okay with having their lives disrupted so that changes can be implemented. And whenever people are very upset at how things are going, they then are not fine with everything else. So they don't go into easygoing mode, like, okay, do whatever you want, I don't care, which would be the left-leaning side of it. They start to become like this. This is a mess. We need order here. We need order in this place. What's going on? I can't do anything anymore. The economy is bad. I can't sell my house. I don't know. My cousin lost his job. Everything is horrible. So they get into that anxious state and they want something to be done because the cycle is ending, and it's understandable. It's very unpleasant when cycles end. When the temperature is then taken at this point, where most people are very upset and generally unsatisfied with things, this is a good time to make changes, to make big changes. Because people are so fed up with the status quo that whatever you do is better than nothing. And so at this point then, some character is then put there for people to think that they have a new leader or whatever. And then during this time, when you have a more right-leaning government, supposedly, I hope you understand that nothing is really going on. This is just the soap opera. But you can use it as an indicator. You can use it as a canary in the coal mine, so you know what's going on. When this character, more right-leaning character, is then said to be the leader or something, then big changes are implemented. That change sometimes the way people do things, reorganize a bit of the economy, or new laws for jobs or for development are then instituted. It's kind of an update on whatever land workings. This is what goes on then. It can be regionally, it can be a whole country, it can be a bunch of countries when they get together and make those G5, G7, G whatever things, then agree that some big change is going to happen. Okay, so this is what happens then. Then you have some big change, and then supposedly these people get voted out. It really doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't even matter if you vote. It's all just a show. This is just the way that things are being explained to us, normal human beings that are not invested in whatever land workings. It's just a way of appeasing everyone. This is what I said before, that it resembles people that do something and then go about explaining themselves. You know how it is. oh, I had to do this because of this reason and that reason, and because the sky is blue and the grass is green, and so I had to do it. Instead of saying the real reason, I want to do the things I want to do the way I want to do them and when I want to do them because I want to, because it's good for me. Or sometimes is I want to do the things that I want to do and I don't want to do the other things that I don't want to do because I'm frightened of the outcome. I'm frightened about the unknown. If I lose, I don't know, 10% of my money, I will kill myself. This is the way things go. So people with a lot of money that can get together and decide things, they then come up with this ridiculous soap opera that you think you are participating in and that you think you have any chance of affecting any kind of change by going to some place and either writing names or punching in numbers, or I don't know what you do when you quote unquote vote, but you can't do anything. This is just to appease a lot of people whom these guys that are on top quotation marks are dependent on. This whole structure runs on you. It runs on me. It runs on regular, normal, lovely human beings who just want to live their lives. Without all of us, tiny human beings, none of this can exist. The system runs on humans. And this is why people who are big players in this Whateverland game, they do these shenanigans. Governments and government programs and voting and soap opera all the time, and oh, this guy stole the election and the other guy stole the election. Let's have audits. Oh, this is ridiculous. This is just for the people to get appeased. While these guys are doing what they want, when they want, however they want, to stay on top of the game. They are not better than you or me. They are just normal, regular human beings. And if you want, you can go into Whateverland and be part of this group. You just have to give up on your soul. Just waste your life in Whateverland idiocy. Do everything these people want you to do. Agree your way to the top. And then you will be one of them. You will get to decide when a road is built and from where to where. I can assure you there is no joy in any of this. It is not even fun. Because then you are a zombie. You're not yourself anymore. You're just a part of the structure. You are a simple battery then, holding up this structure. But you can do it. This idea that there are these strange day people that are so much better than any of us normal human beings can only be held up because there is this myth that you or me could never be in the position of deciding roads or programs or the next lie that will be passed off as reality. It's not true. It's not true. It's just if you have a soul at all, if you are aware that you have a soul, if you are aware that there are more important things than Whateverland game, if you have an inkling of understanding that you have a soul and that you have to abide by your soul for your life to be worth something, for this period that you are here playing about in this sandbox to be of any value, then you don't want, generally, normal, regular, lovely people don't want to be part of the structure. It is painful to them. Lovely beings suffer when they have to give up their souls to be part of the structure. They hate it. It is painful and horrible. So this is why you or me are not part of what goes on. If you would give up the life of your soul, which I don't recommend, I think it's horrible. It's a horrible choice. But then you just would enter the structure and you would be one of these people that then try to explain themselves through these ridiculous structures called governments, and that go then on about, oh, we had to do this because the economy, and we have to do that other change or that other social program because of blah blah blah. It's all lies. It's not that. It is exactly like, I don't know, your cousin that buys a motorcycle and rides around like a lunatic and then says to you he has to do that because he has to commute from, I don't know, his job to his home, and some other kind of transportation was not good enough. The reality is he likes motorcycles. It would be much easier if your cousin came to you and said, you know what, I will buy a motorcycle because I want to, and I will ride like a lunatic because it is the thrill of a lifetime. Instead of trying to make it presentable and nice so that you think, okay, it makes sense, yeah, a motorcycle can cut through traffic. It's all there is. This whole government thing is, as you know, it's to govern your mind. Government. It's all there is. This is all it is. This is just the way they explain themselves. Oh, we did this big change because, and then, right, because this guy did this and this. But it's not that. It's the changes needed to be done. And they are just finding, whoever is trying to make these changes, they come up with these explanations. Because they are in the position of making the changes, and they will try to make them in a way that benefits them. Of course, this is what human beings do. If you're in the position of implementing something on a large scale, and you can do it, then obviously you want to do anything that will be to your detriment. You will be doing something that is to your advantage. The thing that may escape many people is that the changes themselves need to be done. Something needs to be done for the cycle that is ending not end in a total disaster. So that when these cycles end, they end in a controlled manner. It's like a controlled demolition instead of letting the building collapse by itself. So this is also something a lot of people don't get. The changes need to be done, okay? When cycles end or are ending, okay? They need to be done. And these people then that are in charge and are responsible for implementing these changes, they then go and do these changes in a way that benefits them. Because they can. Because they can. And now you will probably think, oh, the day people, these people that are trying to control us. No, it's not that. It's just if you are a big player in whatever land, and you want to drill oil where, I don't know, sea turtles mate, And it will create some sort of disturbance for the people around, and you will have to put up ports and roads, and things will change, and it won't be pleasant. Then you have to wait for that region to be in some kind of trouble, or for the country to need that money coming in, that revenue, so that you can justify disrupting a whole bunch of crap just so you can put up your drilling machines and make a ton of money out of it. If you just start looking at this from the perspective of people who have a lot of money and they want to do things, then you will understand much more what goes on. You're just in the way. This is the problem. You're just in the way, and they are trying to, these people, it's not the day people, magic day people. It's just someone that wants to do things where you live, and they want to do things when you are very upset so that you will accept them doing things. They can then justify the disruption of your domestic life by their crap that they're doing to get more money and power or whatever. But it's actually not that much about power. You might think it's about power. It isn't. It is just money. It's just money. It's just money. So they want you then to be okay or somewhat okay with the crap they're doing. And this is how they know. If a whole country is so very upset at the economy and the way of life, and they just can't take it anymore, and then they take the temperature and it comes out more right-leaning or strongly right-leaning, then they can come in and change things, and people will endure the changes. Just go back, take any period you want, and just go back and see how things go when the left is supposedly governing and the right is supposedly governing, and you will see that big changes, structural changes, right? Changes to the structure of whatever land on a regional, country-wide, or even more comprehensive multinational structural changes happen when people get together and are more inclined to have their domestic lives disrupted, because it was already bad. You have reached the end of some cycle, and then the changes that are implemented are normally where the thing had already collapsed or was on the way of collapsing, which is what modern life is really about. Modern financial, monetary, fiscal, whatever things they are trying to pass, laws, changes, and structural modifications are intended to not let whatever land structures collapse entirely, because this is very bad for people, and people then starve and die, and everything is so crap if things really are left to collapse by themselves. So this is the way that people that are invested in the structure and have a lot of money and are playing this game, this whatever land game for real, they then know when these changes can be made so that whatever land don't goes up in flames. It would be really horrible. So sometimes it happens. Some countries do go to hell, and it's not really pretty. People suffer a lot. It should be avoided if it can be avoided. Sometimes it can't, and this is also why sometimes you think, yeah, but these day people are doing things and they are just making everyone's life miserable and bankrupting countries. No. What happens when countries really go under is that people who are invested in the structure, have a lot of money, etc., etc., they just made a mistake. They weren't clear enough. They didn't arrive in time. It's just it was a mistake, and then they lose that timing, and the structure collapses by itself, and then and then it has to be built up from the ground up. Okay, so just summarizing, I think you noticed I got dinged, right? I was all riled up and now I'm calm. Okay. Yeah, because I was in the theme and probably repeating myself, and now I can just summarize. So here's the thing. What does all of this mean to you as an individual? First of all, don't bother about politics or elections. Don't bother about any of that soap opera. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with anything that is going on TV and with these whole ideologies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just forget about all that. What you can use, what is really useful, if you want, I don't even look at it. Really, it doesn't matter to me at all. At all. I follow other things. I have my own canaries that I watch, and when they come up dead from the particular coal mine I need to know is there for me or not, then I act upon it. But if you want, this is how to really use politics in your favor. And elections and all of that. So, elections happen regionally or country-wise, and then you have these whole other elections around the world, and you have then left-leaning and right-leaning governments and all of that, okay? So if you look at that, then you can more or less know when changes are coming and when things will just go on the way they are. So you can know when you have to prepare yourself because life will get unstable for you. If regionally you are having a more right-leaning temperature, people are unhappy and they want change, then change will come. And you can know when it will come, more or less. When supposedly they tell you that some character that is more right-leaning and has some silly ideas, it doesn't matter what they're saying. It doesn't matter what is coming out of their mouths. It's just a prop. Okay, it's just a prop. You look at it and say, oh, all right, this more right-leaning character is now in play. So changes will come. And if you then look at the problems of your region, then you can even more or less anticipate what kind of changes will be done to your country or region or city or, I don't know, whatever is going on in your life. And then you will know that your life will get a little bit more unstable, and then you can, if you want, have some kind of interest in finding out what the changes will be, and so you can prepare better. And if the left-leaning character is in play on the stage, then you know that probably nothing much will be done. Things will just go on. Whatever land will be left to its own devices. It seems more unstable because it's just natural forces playing out. But really, what is being done on those times is adjustments. You can know that there will be a lot of adjustments, and they might annoy you. It's like correcting course so that the cycle lasts for a long time. Whatever someone else who has a lot of money is trying to do may take a bit of time, and so a left-leaning period will just try to go doing minor changes, minor adjustments, so that whatever is being built or changed or restructured and put up on the former right-leaning period is maintained for the longest time possible before it collapses. Do you understand how it works? So you have a right-leaning period, changes are made, structures are put up, new laws, whatever, changes. And then you have a left-leaning period in which these changes then have their effect. And for it to not be a complete wreck of a roller coaster, then minor adjustments are made so that this cycle can last as long as possible, so that life on whatever land isn't disrupted all the time. But it will collapse eventually, because it starts not working here, not working there, because it's a dynamic place and every one of us, human beings, is doing something. And so it can't last because it's dynamic. And so it starts to just fall a little bit apart here and there, and the adjustments start not to work anymore, and then it all goes under, or it all is about to go under, and then people get very upset, and then they kind of vote more right-leaning, and then changes are made again and put up, and so big changes, and then the left-leaning period starts, and then minor adjustments are made, and so it goes. So it's not really that difficult. You can watch how things are being done, and then you will probably think of places like China, I don't know, and you can see how that correlates, because it is just a giant cycle that is being propped up and propped up and propped up and propped up. And for, I don't know, really, an era, they're very good in maintaining the thing going without having to change the soap opera over there. Stability has a high cost. There has to be a lot of control and micromanaging for changes to be implemented over time, despite what people want or need, instead of periodically, when cycles naturally come to an end. If there is more freedom of choice, and people, human beings, can do many different things at once, at the same time, then you have more freedom, but you get a more unstable environment that has to suffer changes at regular periods so that it doesn't collapse. That is the other side of the coin. If you don't want to have a very restrictive and controlled system, you get then a system that is a little bit more unstable and that has to suffer significant changes from time to time. See, it's not difficult to understand. Just look at it as trying to maintain economical stability and financial stability. And if you're trying to maintain something that is very dynamic, if you're trying to maintain it static or still or undisrupted, then you have to have a lot of control to control the natural forces. It's not a good idea. It is a waste of time. But there are people who enjoy this and think it's a better alternative. And so you have these places that are very strict and controlled and have a lot of rules. And all of your life is very tightly organized. Okay, and then you have places that are a mess, a big mess. And everyone does whatever they want. Life progresses in a very chaotic way, but you have more freedom. And then you have these mixed places in which you have this creation and destruction cycle managed so that you can have a little bit of freedom and a little bit of order and a little bit of freedom and a little bit of order. I think it's horrible, but this is all that's going on. So, I know this recording is a bit messy. I hope it was useful though, because I can't bear sometimes to see people getting all invested in politics and in the little themes that are being thrown out, and it's just a temperature taking for people with tons and tons of money to do whatever they like without a lot of pushback from the people human beings that are having their lives disrupted because of changes that are being implemented in such a way as to favor the same people over and over and make them richer and richer. Now, I can see that knowing about this stuff can make one very upset. And I really hope that I didn't make things worse by doing this recording. I don't find it pleasant that there are these people that are doing this kind of stuff. Taking temperatures, social temperatures, and doing things in favor of themselves that disrupt the lives of however many people that they think are beneath them because they have tons of money. This is the game that is being played on the surface level. And these people are not happy either because they are completely invested in the structure, in the game. It's like they're playing pro, okay? And you or me is a newbie and it's just arrived here, doesn't know anything, is trying to survive this game and finds it horrible. So now, when you understand that this is going on, you can choose. Will you play pro? Then go in there and play pro. Or just forget about that, and try to live your life at a soul level. Live the real life. If you choose to live the real life, then you can go into whatever land, be successful, fail, it doesn't matter anymore, because what you're doing is abiding by your soul and you will grow as a being. And this is the real life that is going on here. This is what this place is really about, not whatever land idiocy. So there. I hope it was useful for anyone that listened to this. I'm very grateful if you spent your time listening to me going on in a very disorganized way about this theme. I'm very grateful to you. Please, if I could have done anything better, tell me. And I will do my very best to make this channel as good as I possibly can. Thank you for listening. See you next time.